Good evening, and welcome to the Boys from the Baltic Star. Now, we are a narrative gaming channel, some might say, and at the weekends we normally play tabletop role-playing games, and sometimes those mean incredibly complicated ones with huge rule books, and sometimes they mean simpler ones. And tonight, Ewan and I are going to return to something we do periodically and play through a game book, as in a sort of choose your fate style thing. Now, this one, despite being published by Puffin and back in the day, 1985, 1985, is not in fact a fighting fantasy book, which is amazing. This is the first of a planned series called the Cretan Chronicles, which was a single campaign, as I understand it. It's the only one I have from this campaign. It's called Bloodfeud of Altheus. So tonight I'm playing through it with Ewan. How are you, Ewan?
I'm very good, thanks, Ben. I'm very good. I'm excited to try something a little bit different. Hopefully break this streak that we've got going.
I mean, you say that, but combat is really very different. It's not simultaneous, it's now turn-based. And it seems to me like just incipient doom. Because if you take 3 hits, you're dead.
Oh, good.
And if you take 2 hits, you're basically so damaged and wounded that you're useless, and then you're dead.
It sounds quite realistic, at least, I suppose, to be fair.
Yeah.
And at least Luke isn't here to laugh at us horribly when we die really, really quickly and break our own Baltic Star record for the shortest stream ever.
He did threaten to stick his nose into the stream at some point.
If we don't talk about it, he won't show up.
That's true. Yeah, that's bound to be true. So, on that basis, let's have a quick overview of how it works. So, there are a couple of mechanics in this book that are different. So, first of all, we don't get to roll characters. We just get to write down our starting stats. And we have to have starting stats of might, protection, honour, and shame. And these are our 4 basic stats to go with. We start with might of 4.
I shall write that down.
Which is, that sounds awful to me. Because, might of 4.
I mean, 4 isn't a very big number in the grand scheme of things.
It sounds bad, but apparently we can improve that by picking up weapons and things. We also get a protection. Now, the basic protection that we get is 10, which sounds a little bit better, but I'm not convinced it will be all that brilliant.
Protection 10.
Then we start with an honour value of 7.
Sounds like us.
Does sound like us. And a shame of 0, which means they've never met us. We may have honour, but we've also got a lot of shame.
They certainly haven't been talking to Sock Fiddler about us.
Indeed. Now, honour is not just useful, it can be kind of essential. Because you use it for all sorts of things during the game. Certain choices you can make will cost you honour, but you can actually use it to buff your combat stats. When you are attacking, you can add honour points by sacrificing them to give you 1 round of pluses to an attack or pluses to your protection for a defence. It's handy, but, with limitations. Shame starts with a 0 and counts up as you make cowardly or dishonourable choices. If shame gets above honour, then you disembowel yourself with a short sword if you happen to have one, or
Yep.
if you're unarmed at that point, Zeus will strike you down with a thunderbolt.
Not a bad way to go, to be fair. If
Not
I
a
go
bad
out
way
like
to
that
go.
in real life,
Yeah.
then I would just so you know, I don't mind.
In other words, this game is completely geared up for the possibility that we can die of cowardice. Not that that would ever happen to us.
No, certainly not in the last Fighting Fantasy we played.
Not in the last Fighting
That's
Fantasy
for
at all.
sure. That is for sure.
Right, so there's that. Then, at the end of a combat, should you win it, so you can actually spend honor points to go below your shame in combat, because at the end of combat, if you win, you might earn some honor points, which might put you back above, and you therefore might survive. Now, I'm trying to think how we can handle two characters in parallel, and the obvious thing I think to do is we can't obviously mess with these stats because they're quite low and clearly core to the function. But what we can do is say, when we pick up different weapons, we'll have to divide them between us, if that makes sense. So when we get a weapon that gives us a bonus, or a piece of armour that gives us a bonus, we'll have to split
Half
them
a sword
between us.
each.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we will pick up weapons and armour as we go, and we will select which of us gets the new piece of kit based on our stats.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
At the beginning of a combat, you can choose to have initiative to go first, and you lose that if you do anything else, like appeal to the gods or do something else first before you join combat. And there may be options to do something non-combat related before a fight. And I will try to keep track of this, because if there is if the number of the paragraph we're on has an italicized number, then we can take a risk and check what happens 20 paragraphs further on.
Yes, I remember you mentioning this.
This basically gives you a hint or a different path through something, but you can only use it at the risk that they may say, there's absolutely nothing you can learn in this situation, it's the Bronze Age, you idiot, and then it'll cost you honor points and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that done, I think we're good to go. So, might need to begin they give you a bit of background here. And the background goes like this. Theseus is dead, replied Hermes. His body lies yet at the heart of the labyrinth in Minos. The spirits of your ancestors cry out from the halls of Hades, lusting for retribution. Aegeus, your noble father, mourns the loss of his strong-armed son. His spirit, fired with soul-searing anger, urges him on to revenge, but his feeble frame cannot undertake the task. It is you, amicable Altheus, who must journey far across the wine-dark sea and destroy the scourge that threatens the city of your birth. So it was that Hermes spoke, and in a wisp of smoke he vanished before you. Okay. And now we can turn to paragraph 1. Trembling with terror at the tale of Hermes, you rush out of your cottage and into the fields. You search for your mother, Aethra, and find her huddled under a spruce tree, tending the goats. In haste, you blurt out the words of the god. My son, replies your mother, the words of the god fill me with sorrow, but they are true, for the gods never lie. She's Greek, right? She knows that's not true. You must follow the orders of the winged messenger. Travel to violet-crowned Athens and seek for your father, Aegeus. Take with you my jewel, for it was once your father's, and he will surely recognize it. But first, visit Passes, high priest of Trozen, and take what advice he can give you. Good luck, my son. Prove worthy of your noble father and your dead brother." Having spoken, she turns away lest you catch sight of her tears. You linger a moment, then, with the jewel clasped firmly in your hand, you rush away down the hillside and into the town. It's dawn, and rosy-fingered Eos has only just tinged the horizon with red. The streets of Troyzen are empty, save for a handful of scurrying slaves already about their master's business. And you come quickly to the temple. The high priest greets you. He already knows of your errand. "Altheus, before you lies a great journey to lands of which you've never even dreamt. Many dangers await you. Without the aid of a god you cannot prevail. Choose now a patron god or goddess to guide and help you. Grey-eyed Athena offers you the gift of wisdom. Ares, god of war, offers strength. If beauty tempts you, think of Aphrodite. Apollo, the archer god, controls the gift of prophecy, while Hera, queen of the gods, has influence over Zeus. Your travels are sure to take you across seas and oceans, and these are Poseidon's province. Choose now one of these 6 to aid you, and pay them homage. Good luck, Altheus, son of Aegeus." Okay, so the first decision we have to make,
Oh,
and it seems absolutely critical at this point suddenly, we pick Aphrodite, Ares, Poseidon, Athena, Hera, or Apollo as our patron. Oh, God.
that feels a bit harsh. Socks has asked which god will we disappoint. I mean, accurate, but harsh.
You mean which god will we disappoint first? Ultimately, we're going to disappoint all of them, I'm sure.
Yeah. Precisely.
I don't know. I mean, my natural inclination would be to say Athena or Poseidon are quite likely. But given how brutal combat is, Ares might be a good call. I don't know. What do you fancy? Beauty, war, the ocean, wisdom, influence over Zeus, or prophecy?
Oh. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. I would, being me, go for either of the 2 that you didn't mention, beauty or prophecy. But just for fun and giggles, I do like the. I do think maybe Poseidon would be a good choice.
Poseidon,
Surely,
you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that we're still like 80% water or something. So
Yeah. There's a lot of water in the Med. It's true. Now,
well, add in the people.
yeah. I mean,
Super helpful.
on a purely tactical level, I'd be tempted to say if we picked Athena, it might make Athens a bit easier if that's our first proper trip, and we might survive a little bit longer. But Poseidon will probably pay off at the end more.
That's true. I've also just caught up with chat, and Suck says, "Please don't pick Aries because she'll be typing arse all night," and that sounds quite amusing as well. To be fair.
I'm completely on board with you and Socks. I think it is time to call this the Poseidon adventure. And we will do this. We will go with Poseidon, okay?
Yeah, make it so.
Poseidon. We turn to 117, and our patron is Poseidon. We'll make a note of that and turn to 117. You pray to Poseidon the Earthshaker, and sure enough, the ground trembles beneath you. As you look up, the water spout from the fountain forms into the face of an old white-bearded man. "So you're Altheus, are you? Not half the man your father was, or your brother, come to that. Never mind. Come and pray to me when you have some sailing to do. Until then, kindly leave me alone. The ways of the gods are strange." You set out for Athens. Turn to 2.
Oh, harsh.
Oh, well. At least we know when we can call on him.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right. Okay. The road is hard, and you are soon tired. As you struggle up a rocky mountain path, a man and a woman ride past on a horse, deep in conversation. As they gallop on, the dust makes you splutter, but they're out of sight before you can react. Eventually you reach the top of the hill, and for the first time in your life you can look down into the valley beyond. It is fertile and inviting. You can see high-walled Tiryns in the distance, and a little nearer and to the east, Epidaurus, sacred to Asclepius the healer. You drink deeply from the wineskin and press on down the hillside. The path forks. Will you go left or right? Now this has an italicized number, so we can take the risk of some honour and ask for a hint, basically.
This feels like totally a thing where you could peer off down left and peer off down right and see if you can see anything more than we are being given.
And
maybe?
Perhaps it's essential now to find out quite how brutal it is when you ask for a hint.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a shot. So try.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can possibly go wrong. No Greek hero should feel fear so soon after leaving the halls of his ancestors. Take one point of shame and go back to 2. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, dear. That was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, indeed. 1 point of shame. Socks, we are more than happy to still take suggestions from chat.
Yes. Especially now it turns out that the book is going to punish us.
Yeah, just for doing what we think is right. Sorry, Ben, that's probably on me.
So, we can go left or right. So, it doesn't actually say whether left leads to Tiryns or right leads to Tiryns. So, I mean, left or right. That's basically the choice. Left. Sock says left.
Sock says left. Let's make it left. It is.
There might be a volcano we can throw ourselves into randomly.
Port, I think we should say, because Poseidon.
Poseidon, yes, definitely port. The path forks, we will go left. 309. Okay. The journey to Tiryns is uneventful, and the path clear of other travellers. You arrive in the high-walled city by nightfall. Will you look around, turn to 45, or look for somewhere appropriate to spend the night? By nightfall, I don't know. Go for a place, or look around the place?
I say look around.
All right, let's do that. We'll look around first. Turn to 45.
Only because that feels more ship-like. If you're on a ship and particularly if you're in a crow's nest, I suppose you're looking around, aren't you?
We are doing everything the way Poseidon would do.
I'm leaning into the Poseidon after he scorned us so hard on our first choice.
Tiryns seems as uninteresting as your journey there. There are a few drunken brawls, but nothing a hero would get involved in. The day's travel begins to sap the strength from your legs, and you feel that you must rest. You look for a place to spend the night. Go to 200. Okay. I get the feeling we're still in the tutorial level, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And we've only got one shame in the tutorial level, so...
Yeah.
Not all bad.
After some searching, you find an inn which is sumptuous and well furnished. Perhaps this is why there are no other guests. You eat and drink deeply with your host, displaying great. Wow, Lavendia. We'll have to ask John what that means. And then stumble to your room and collapse on the bed. Your feet stick out over the end, but you manage to curl up and get comfortable. If your patron god is Apollo, turn to 53. Otherwise, you become sleepy, turn to 500. Our patron god is not Apollo. We turn to 500. Also, can I just point out that all of the Fighting Fantasy books we've played so far have had exactly 400 paragraphs. And this one, we've just turned to paragraph 500, and it's not at the end of the book.
Ooh.
Not even close.
Interesting.
Right. You awake to find that Procrustes, the innkeeper, has chopped off both of your legs to make you fit the bed. As you bleed to death, you have just enough time to gasp a prayer to Zeus to save you. If you've not called upon him yet in this adventure, turn to 118. Otherwise, the travels of Altheus end here.
Wait, I'm sorry, what? He chopped off our legs to make us fit in the bed?
Yes.
Can you just make a bigger bed?
This is essentially
Pull up
misery.
a footstool.
This is a Stephen King story.
Yeah. Wow. The past is harsh. That's all I can say.
So much for it being still the tutorial mission. Yeah, but apparently we can pray to Zeus. So let's do that, shall we?
Yeah, I'd recommend.
118.
That's a good idea.
No, we're not done yet, Socks, until we find out what happens at 118. It's going to say, if it's cost you any honour points at this point, you're dead, isn't it?
Oh, no. Yeah, that could be our the second roll. Oh, stupid.
Zeus the Lifebringer appears and touches your severed limbs gently. Overcome by his majesty, you faint, and when you awake, your terrible wounds are healed. You can walk once more. If only, you think to yourself, I had not allowed sleep to dull my mind, I might have noticed the warnings of the Olympian gods. Didn't see a warning in the strictest sense. Anyway, go to 263.
Thanks, Zeus.
Gotta say, it's handy having Zeus on your side, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it did say if you haven't called on him already. Otherwise, you might be in trouble. But hey.
You leave high-walled Tiryns far behind you as, mulling over the night's events in your mind, you journey north to Mycenae. The road is high-banked, and there are few travellers. Some hours pass and you reach a place where a track joins the road. Unsure of your route, you question a passing farmer on his way to the market at Tiryns. He tells you that the track leads east to Epidaurus, home of Asclepius the healer, but that the road leads, as you thought, to Mycenae the lion city. If you take the track to Epidaurus, go to 324, otherwise you carry on to Mycenae. We are supposed to go to Epidaurus, aren't we? To Asclepius.
Yeah.
But the question is, do we first go to Mycenae? What do you think? I'm starting to think we should follow instructions, and instructions were go to Asclepius.
Yeah. Let's do that. That feels right.
And I'm betting he has a door. Okay. All right, we'll take the track to Epidaurus. 324. Okay.
Socks is right. We do have the door rule, but hey. We do always die as well, to be fair. It's not like our rules have ever helped us in the past. 234, did you say, sorry, Ben?
324.
324.
As you trudge along the dusty road, the midday sun beats down on your back. You sit down to take a drink, and as you do, you notice something strange beside the road. You stand up, and when you reach the place, there's a skeleton sheathed in rotting leather armour. Across the road, a boot and a broken, rusty sword hilt lie, in evidence of an ancient struggle for the traveller's life. The place is overgrown with bushes and scrub. You sigh and utter a quick prayer to your patron that your fate will be a happier one, and that amicable Altheus will live at least to see the halls of his father. But the journey beckons, and you set off again to Epidaurus. Now, we have some italicised thing here. We could go ahead, but I'm nervous now about doing that.
No, let's do it.
You want to see what it says at 344?
Yeah, it's not gonna do that to us twice, right? Surely, if we've learned anything from these books, they'll definitely not punish us twice in a row.
Just as you're about to leave, you notice something glint in the bushes. That sounds good. Okay. You investigate. It's an old rusty helmet, but still useful. Okay, protection 2, might 0. So do you want that one, or should I take it?
You can take it if you wish.
All right, I will take the old rusty helmet for the moment. Okay. Good. Thinks italics are evil. Well, of course. Right, we go to 277. I love the fact you've basically drawn a door everywhere we go.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, I'm using a trackpad, so I don't actually have a mouse because I'm not currently at home at the minute. This isn't my usual setup. I'm not normally this shadowed in a veil. Paired with the fact that I'm still not entirely comfortable with using Roll20 to draw stuff on a map. This is the best we're getting. It is at very least a diagram of the route we are currently taking, with no space to add any future routes.
It is excellent, I'm sure, and we can work out the rest as we go. So, you come at last to the town of Epidaurus. You look around in amazement at the crowded streets. Unfamiliar faces push past you and crush you against the high-towered walls. No one stops or notices you, and they all seem miserable, as if abandoned by the gods. Eventually, courage builds itself in your mind, and you seek to converse with a high-born lady. She ignores you with a contemptuous glance. Almost in despair, you seize a passer-by and shake his arm. "Friend," you say, "where is the inn? Why is the town so afflicted? Is Olympian Zeus angry with its people? Do the harpies visit your feast tables laden with the fruits of the earth?" The man only shakes his head and points lamely ahead. You look and see a scruffy tavern. You turn to question the man, but he's scurried off. Resigned, you walk towards the small, squat building. The steps are unwashed and the windows are caked with dirt. A sign above the door tells you it is indeed a place where you can find a room for the night. We can go in or we can go away, but it does say it's got a door.
It certainly does. It certainly does. And this is a literal door, not metaphoric.
And it's not a natural door.
No, that's true, because natural doors are bad.
Natural doors always kill you.
They will make snakes bite us, if nothing else, and then we will be so crippled that we'll die to the next thing that sneezes on us.
That was a brutal death, that. Okay. I think we have to go in, even though I'm a little worried about the squat building for all sorts of reasons. So, yes, we'll go in.
But we're heroes. We shouldn't be afraid.
We will turn to 36.
That's what the book has taught us already.
Inside, it's worse than even the wretched evidence suggested. There's a powerful smell of rotting food and unwashed locals. Despite being nearly overcome by nausea, you step up to the bar. "Innkeeper," you shout. "A room for the night." At the far end of the bar, the innkeeper, a grossly fat, cowardly-looking man, continues to ignore you. Beside you, an old man with bare feet speaks. Son, if I were you, I would leave at once, for Epidaurus is beset by foul bandits, terrorizing the temple of Asclepius the healer. Go quickly, for they will likely kill strangers, or perhaps, since you hold yourself as a hero, you could rid our town of this curse, he adds, with sarcasm heavy in his voice. The innkeeper has now come over and proffers you a key to an upstairs room. Do you pay him and take the key to the room, going upstairs for long-fingered sleep to brush closed your weary eyelids? Or do you react to the old man's taunt at once and seek the bandits? Well, you see, I'm torn here. Because being a hero, obviously,
Of course.
I want to go after the bandits, but we have literally been handed a key to a door.
Ooh, that is very true. However, the book did punish us pretty hard for not being hero-y enough. Hero-y?
Enough, yeah, you're right.
Heroic, yeah.
And
definitely hero-y.
I'm not comfortable with lick key. Yes, we'll do that clearly.
No, if only that was a choice.
If that was a choice, we would definitely do it.
For sure.
We've got to go for the bandits, haven't we? Otherwise the book will punish us for being cowards.
I mean, to be fair, it is only one example that we've. There's one statistic in this pool, and we're jumping to conclusions. Maybe it won't punish us this time.
I don't know. God. Well, put it this way: we've been told don't go to sleep unless you're very confident of where you are. And we've been told...
That's true.
And we've been told, don't do anything cowardly or you get punished for it. In two completely separate incidents.
Yeah, so maybe we've got two statistics.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go and look for the bandits, because, frankly, I think Socks is keen for us to die quickly, and that seems the quickest way.
Or does it? After the previous bed incident.
Yeah. 508.
Recure 508.
I just want to check that that's right.
You are dead.
508. Okay. Just to make sure. You're travelling along a road deeply rutted by the carts of pilgrims bringing sick ones or gifts to the temple of the healer. Beside the road, the trees and bushes rustle menacingly. The wind whips up spirals of dust from the track, which further obscure the way ahead. Go to 20.
That seems weird.
Without warning, two black-cloaked brigands leap out of the bushes, and before you have a chance to react, one of them has stabbed you. Okay.
So take some damage and then begin combat, right, Ben?
You are wounded.
Right, Ben?
You are wounded and then go to 462. All right. So at this point, I need to explain to everybody what this means. Essentially, a character can be healthy, wounded, seriously wounded, or dead. If you are healthy or wounded, you get to roll 2 dice in combat. If you're seriously wounded, you only get to roll 1. And if you're dead, well, you're dead.
Can we go back to playing the really brutal fighting fantasy ones? Who was it who was really brutal? I forget who we died to.
So, okay, wounded. All right. We are wounded. This is... this is when Luke turns up, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, last time he turned up, I think about 10 minutes after we'd died, and we'd stuck around for a little bit to actually do some talking, because it wasn't very long at all.
Yeah.
So, we're doing better this time. which is good.
We are marginally doing better, but we've already been wounded, and this is an oddly brutal thing. The next wound we take basically cripples us. So, we have to turn to 462. Okay. So, the two bandits have Might 4 and Protection 10. However, they carry long knives, which give them an extra Might 2. So they basically are equal in stats.
Yeah, Might 4, Protection 10.
Okay. All right. Now it gives us some options here. We can surrender or retreat. Surrender or retreat will both cost us various honor points and things like that.
Yeah.
As I understand it, if you surrender when you are seriously wounded, it doesn't hurt you as they allow you to do that for less harm than if you surrender when you're not seriously wounded. But one of the options is if you die and are saved by Zeus, go to 536. Because that has to happen on this paragraph, there's clearly no instruction for this, which makes me wonder, do we get literally one saved by Zeus and we've already used it?
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm just going to check the rules. Okie dokie.
I mean, I think seeing as there's two of us and we are really heroic,
Yeah, we are.
Zeus would definitely save us again. We made a good first
I
impression.
think he probably would, and he didn't.
With the whole legs thing, I can't believe Luke missed that. He'd have loved it.
And that didn't feel like the real thing. You know, that felt like just a random, a random
Warm
stop.
up. Do ever. We want to do ever.
All right. So we can be saved by Zeus potentially if we die. Right. Okay. All right. So let's go for the combat. They are 4 plus 2 for might, and they have protection 10. I have 4 might and protection 12, thanks to a rusty old helmet, and you have might 4 and protection 10. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Not going to do anything like pray or anything like that beforehand, so we get initiative. You ready?
Indeed.
2d6 plus...
Yeah. 4.
Plus 4. That's an 11 plus 4 is, for me, a 15.
Mine is a 10, unfortunately.
No, that's fine, because they are protection 10. So we both score a hit, and they are both wounded. Now they get a go, which this could be really brutal suddenly. My one, they got 6 plus. 10 for me is 16. So I'm now seriously wounded.
Mine is a 7, which does not bode well when you add 4 to get 11.
Okay, so you're seriously wounded as well. Now that means we now get to roll just one d6.
Ooh.
So, and they don't have to worry about that unless we can hurt them. So I'm going to use some honor. I'm going to use 4 honor points. So I roll 1d6 plus 4. I've got to get past 10, haven't I? That's not a good idea, is it? God, I've got to get past 10 in order to seriously wound them. So, I'm going to need to use 6 honor points. And then roll a 4.
Yeah. I mean, 6 is the most we can use anyway, right? Because if our shame is
Yeah.
greater than our honor,
Yeah. Okay.
we're in trouble.
Oh, this could be really bad. All right, I'm going to use 6 honor points on this roll.
Yeah.
And I rolled a 4. So that's hit them. My opponent is seriously wounded as well.
Nice. I mean, I think I have to do the same, right? I
Probably.
can't not do anything because I can't then make 10. Well, I can just make 10. No, I can't make 10. Yes, I can. Just. Let's do the same. And then roll 1d6, which is a 2. Let me adjust my honor. What's the exchange rate?
Your might plus your... you've got to get past 10. You need 4 plus your die roll. Actually, that's a good point. I didn't need 6, did I? I wanted to get it to the point where if I rolled a 4, I hit. And I had 4 might plus the die roll plus the number I needed. So I actually only needed to use 2, not 6. That's better. So I've actually got 5 left, not 1 left.
Ah,
Okay.
I see.
Right, that's better. Okay. So, yeah, you... in essence, you've got might 4.
Yeah.
You then roll a d6 and add whatever you roll. But
Yep,
you can, before you make that roll, decide how many pluses you want to give yourself as well. And you've got to hit 10.
One for one.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, I said I was going to use 6, but that seems silly because
Well, 6
that
would...
would guarantee me even if I
5
rolled
would
a 0.
guarantee you a hit.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that I marked off 5.
Okay.
I rolled a 2, so I was over anyway.
Cool.
Right. But I used the most that would actually logistically makes sense from a point of view. Yeah, that works, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel as though I'm
Okay,
cheating.
so your one is also seriously wounded.
Yes.
Okay. It's their turn, however. Now, thankfully, they're NPCs. They don't have honour. So, with their might of 6, they have to roll a 4 or better to hurt us. Of course, on the downside, if they do hurt us, we're instantly dead. Unless,
Yes.
of course, we want to surrender. But
Or retreat. Can we still retreat?
we can still retreat, or we can surrender. So it's either. I think if we retreat, it's going to cost us honour and probably add a shame. And if we surrender, it'll probably cost us just one or the other, but not both. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen if we turn to those.
Which I can't afford to do. So I'm with Luke for once. Never surrender. I'll drop the coward's bit that he added at the end. But I agree with it. I agree. 2 out of 3. It's not bad. Apparently, according to Meatloaf.
Okay, I'm fine. He rolled a 1.
Right. Let's see. 3.
You're fine as well. That's 9. It's less than your protection. So, we can have another go and try to kill them. Now that they're on 1d6 as well, I'm not so nervous about it. So, I think I'm going to burn one more honor. So this is d6 plus 5, and I've got to hit 10. Let's hope for the best. I know I'm going to have to burn more than that, aren't I? I'm going to burn 2 more honor. d6 plus 6, and I'm hoping for 10. Well, that's all right. I rolled a 5. So an 11 total.
Nice.
So my one is dead.
Right. I'm not going to spend any because I've got 2 honor and 1 shame, which doesn't sound at all like us. So I'm just gonna roll +4, and I've got to hit a 6. Right?
Yeah, you need a 6 to hit him. Yeah.
Meets it is good enough. No, that's a 3.
Okay.
3, 3, 3. Halfway there.
Halfway there. So he's going to get another go at you, and then we'll both get a go at him.
Yeah.
So he needs. He's got 1d6 only. He's got to get to 10 against you. So he needs a 4 or better.
Right. Oh. That's a 6.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'm going to have a go at him.
I feel as though you can still go on, Ben.
Well, what we may be able to do is, if I can kill him, we can use up, if you like, one of our Zeus rescues. Since we've each got one, obviously.
Oh,
I assume.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's a 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. Not enough. Okay. It's bad not being armed with anything, isn't it?
It is. At least you've still got your trusty helmet to protect you. Rusty helmet, not trusty.
He's got 6 plus. He rolled a 5, which is 11. That's not enough for me because I have a rusty helmet. Okay. This is bizarre because we both need 6 all the time now. Oh God. Mine was a 3. His was a 3. And mine was a 6. He's dead.
Oh.
Okay.
First person to roll a 6.
First person to roll a 6 wins. Okay, so what we're going to have to do... actually, I missed an option. I'm sorry. We're going to have to run that back potentially because you're still alive. I missed an option in the book. Yeah, okay. So roll it back to the point where the one facing you went seriously wounded. Which is probably after your first use of honor points, however much that was.
Yep, that was a lot.
Okay.
So I'm still on 2 honor and 1 shame because...
okay. We turned to 600 apparently at that point. Okay, and they say, "We will never surrender," says the leader, and as he does, they impale themselves on their knives. You may have 5 honor points. Well, that's better.
What? Honestly, this book is really all over the place. I kind of like it, especially when it does things like that. after chopping off our legs in our sleep.
I'm completely baffled. We each get 5 honour points. That's fantastic. So that's got me. Well, that's actually more than I started with.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice indeed.
Right, okay. And we can carry on towards the temple, wondering at the ways of men. Go to 216.
Done. Not sure I like that though.
I was just
I'm
reading
hoping it was something in chat and not
Luke's horror at the fickleness of kebab shops.
If he thinks kebab shops are fickle, he should try sleeping in Who's In, was it? The guy who wanted to make us fit in the beds. Yeah. Good times.
A mountain lion roars in the distance, and you hurry onwards, anxious to accomplish the task. The temple is much closer now, and you can see a statue of the god, its face convulsed as if in mortal pain. The fountain of Asclepius flows red with blood. Amazed at this sacrilege, your limbs tremble and you are filled with a divine fury. Onwards you rush into the temple precinct, bellowing strange words as you go. Words which come from the gods, like a boar speared in the frenzied chase. Cries out its defiance against the high-hearted hunters. Desecrating curs, the god will punish you for your pitiful pride, thinking you could defile his temple and escape the price. At this, 2 bandits step forward from the gloom where once Asclepius' light shone, saying nothing. You know that you must retreat or fight. If you attempt to retreat now, you may not do so later, go to 145, or you can attack. Now, I have a concern about this. Because we're seriously wounded, aren't we?
Yeah.
Now, I know we can, in theory, Can you afford some honour point or some shame point if we retreat?
Yeah. I gain 5. I am, as long as it's not,
I have no idea. I mean, it might say roll 2d6 and that's how many points you lose.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's better though, especially as it's not the combat doesn't happen at the same time, does it? They're gonna go, we gotta go, they're gonna go, we gotta go, they gotta go. So chances are, I feel like that's more likely we're gonna get hit.
Okay.
It might not be, but it feels it,
And based on the last lot, they're actually armed. And we're not. We have no weaponry. Okay.
And only one of us has a rusty helmet.
And only one of us has a rusty helmet. And it's only a rusty helmet, yeah. Okay.
And it's not me.
So maybe we retreat. This could be so much the wrong choice. We're going to do it. We're going to run away. Go to 145. Okay. You've automatically succeeded in escaping. You must take 1 shame point. And you are now in disfavour with Asclepius.
Ooh.
That may be bad. I don't know how much that's going to hurt us. At least he's not one of the really big gods, but unfortunately he's the one who heals you. And we could really use that.
Yeah, we could. We certainly could.
Okay. All right. Just want to check one thing, because I know this is obviously brutal. Um, oh, okay, it wasn't quite as bad as I feared, because apparently after combat we get to go back to healthy again. Instantly, which is remarkable. Alright,
Oh, okay.
so it's not quite as bad as that, but we still need some weapons. Okay, so 536 we go to.
536.
536. Okay. The sun, saffron robed, has climbed high above you to your left, and now begins her long descent as you come to the river Cleoni, its waters reflecting her life-giving rays. In the distance you see Cleoni herself, and the woods wreathe the banks in the way to the town. The deep whirling river is a spring, swollen with the melting snow from the mountains, and a shallow ford is the only crossing. An aged crone stands despairing, unable to cross, staring at the muddy waters. Pity me, she pleads, for I am old and weak. If you would carry me, I could cross the river. Otherwise, I must stay here, and stony-hearted hunger will take me, and it will be you who's killed me. We can attack the woman and beat stony-hearted hunger to it, throw her in the river and tell her to swim, cross the river ignoring her, or we can carry her across the river.
Hmm.
I mean, for honour points, we've got to carry her across the river, haven't we? But I have a horrible feeling this is a trap.
Yes, I do too. Which obviously means we're going to walk straight into it, because we always do.
We always do.
We always do.
A crone could be a door, but if she's a door, she's a natural door. That's the problem.
It's like Socks is in chat, just waiting for all of those things that you just said. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't like many of the other options other than
the only we can't really just attack the woman randomly, can we? It's not very heroic.
No. Or throw her in a river. Oh, I suppose we could throw her in a river. Like Poseidon's god, he could help us out carrying her across.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe it isn't a trap. Maybe she's Aphrodite or something in disguise.
Yeah, or he could just make the currents carry her over for us.
I'm not sure there's that level of sophistication in our options.
It depends how close the river is to the sea, I suppose.
Here's the issue. If we carry her across and she turns out to be like Aphrodite, then she might be really happy with us and we might earn some favour. On the other hand, if we carry her across and she turns out to be something like a Gorgon, then we're doomed. But I think throwing her in the river, we're doomed no matter what happens.
Yes. It certainly doesn't feel heroic.
I think if we're going to be heroic, we've got to carry her across, haven't we?
Yeah. And we are hero-y.
We are hero-y.
Hero-y to the max.
At least tonight we're hero-y. Okay, we're going to carry her across the river, turn to 316.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
You pick up the woman and carry her into the water. The current is strong, but you find yourself pushing ahead quickly against it. Soon you're approaching the other bank and the crone speaks, but her appearance is altered, and now you recognise her as Hera, the divine queen. Altheus, she cries above the rush of the water, you've done well. Although you did not recognise me, you've done me a favour. If Hera's your patron, go to 584. No, she isn't, so we're going to go to 60.
Socks totally called this, by the way, Ben, in chat.
Really? Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Okay. We are in favour with Hera, so we can make a note of that.
That makes up for the disfavour. I like it.
And we get 2 honour points.
Oh, even better. You must be rolling in on her now, Ben.
Yeah, not bad.
No, Luke, this is going to be the one. The one that you tune into is going to be the one that we make it through.
Okay. So we turn to 294.
Nice.
Wait a minute, is that right? I have 2 honour points. Yep, 294. Okay. You struggle across the rest of the river, your tired legs shaking with the cold. You hear something drop in the churning water. Perhaps you've dislodged a pebble. At length, you struggle up the other bank. It says go to 417, but this is an italicised one, so we can take a risk and,
Ooh. Try and see what's going on. Get a little hint.
you get a hint. If it's going to cost us an honour point to take the hint, I'm going to take a look because I've got enough honour to cope for the moment. Of course, if it costs us 10 honour points, then I'm screwed.
Yeah. And taking a shame is basically the same as costing us an honour point.
Yeah, we've got to take the risk. I think Copitojo's right.
At the minute. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. We will try. What's that? 294 plus 20 is 314. You've dropped the jewel. This is what made the splash. This was our identifying jewel. You feel around, and after a time you find it and put it back in the pocket of your tunic. You continue on to the town of Cleoni and find an inn. Go to 266. Okay. Oh. That was a good call.
That was a good call. Thanks, Copper. Good work.
That was an excellent call. 266. Okay. The innkeeper welcomes you in when you knock, smiles and beckons you towards a room. You choose to have a meal first and retire contented to a good night's rest. In the morning, you eat a hearty breakfast and carry out of the town. And nobody even lopped our legs off. That's tremendous.
Well, it must be said that from now on, like from this point forwards, I'm just sleeping in the fetal position with my legs tapped up, just to make sure, no matter how small the bed, I fit in it. Yeah. I don't want to wake up to that horror again.
Absolutely. That was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? Okay, so we have some brunch and then go on to 3.
Got a good feeling about 3.
Yes, same here. The sun, now well above your home, far off in Troyzen, throws gentle light down on the earth below. Its warming rays play on the leaf-filled trees. The way out of Cleoni climbs gently to the crest of the foothills. Your legs, now fresh and eager for the journey, make light work of the ascent. As you reach the top, you gasp at the panorama below. To your left, the Gulf of Corinth opens out in a vast expanse of wine-dark water. At its head, the city of Corinth, standing like a watchtower vigilant over the sea in case the pirates come to carry off the crops and lay waste the well-stocked villages. At the foot of the hills, to the right, is little Kentraea, sister of Corinth, as the moon is of the sun. Beyond the harbour, the Saronic Gulf reaches out almost to Athens, city of the owl-eyed goddess. Between the waters, the isthmus links the Isle of Pelops with the wilder lands beyond. You ponder your choice between bustling Corinth and quiet seafaring Kentraea. Okay. Bustling Corinth or quiet seafaring Kentraea. Now, I'm tempted to say that I would have loved to visit ancient Corinth.
Yes, indeed.
um,
But
but which one's the right choice? I don't know.
I mean, I think I know. Well, my initial thought, obviously, is that our patron, our deity is Poseidon. So why would we not go to the seafaring
True.
location?
I mean, I would point out that Corinth is also a famous seafaring city, but they do say quiet seafaring Kentrea, so maybe that's the hint we're
Yes.
looking for.
Yeah, I feel as if it's mentioned in the book.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
more they're going to pay. There's more of a payoff, or there should be more of a payoff. I'm not sure this is
Yeah, and I mean,
correct.
I'm not entirely familiar with the geography. I mean, Corinth was a very powerful city back then and famous for its navy. But for all I know,
Yes.
Kentrea is the sort of port of Corinth, the way Piraeus is of Athens. And if that's true, then that's probably where we need to be.
Although I could be completely overreading the "Hey, Poseidon's our buddy, he's going to help us out" thing.
Yeah, but
It
we've
might
got
not actually
no
have
other
happened.
information that can make us, help us make a choice, have we?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So I think we
Okay.
might as well go to Kentrea. However, before we do that, I think now might be a good time to take just a short break because we've been at this a while
Ah,
and we're
yeah,
not
we've
dead
done
yet.
well. Yeah, Luke should show up more often, help us out.
Yeah, yes, it's. I mean, it's very sad for Luke because he didn't get to have his cricket thing this weekend, did he?
Yes, that is
That's
true. That is very
that's very
true.
very desperately sad, and obviously we do feel bad for that. But on the other hand, it means we get to have him in chat, which is lovely. I'm sure it's not the same for him, but it's nice for us.
Yeah, it's better for us. It sucks for Luke. Sorry,
Yeah,
Luke.
it really does. So so yes,
But
we
we
will
are
take
glad.
a break and resume again in just a few minutes. So
Yeah.
please stick with us if you can, and hope you're enjoying the Cretan Chronicles Bloodfeud of Altheus. See you in a few. And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us. Or fast forwarding if you're watching on VOD. It's all good. It's all lovely. And I'm sure everything will go flawlessly. He says. Right. So, we last left off on section 3, and we were going to Kentrea. Go to 589.
I feel as though I've stopped you from achieving a childhood dream, Ben.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh, that.
It would be.
But I do.
I suspect it would be a disappointment.
Yeah. I mean,
You descend,
probably a lot of disease.
taking the right-hand path down towards Kentrea. Only the sound of birdsong disturbs the silence of your journey. Away in the gulf, a merchant ship plies its way towards the port, carrying cloths dyed in Tyrian purple to the rich men of the town. As you reach the outermost edge of the town, you see that the merchantman has reached the harbour and is unloading his goods on the wharf. A crowd of people has gathered close to the ship, eager for passage to the great city of Athens. Do you join them and try to shorten your journey by taking the sea route to Athens, or do you choose to take the overland route? Well, this one feels like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, we take the land, right? I've definitely not been harping on about Poseidon the whole time.
I mean, Poseidon is our patron.
Yes.
So I feel we have to take the sea route to Athens and take the benefit of having Poseidon as our ally, yes. So we will go to 68. Yeah. The captain is a small, weather-beaten man, and he readily accepts your proffered coins. We sail in 2 hours, he says, and wait for no man. You wander along the seafront, watching the gaily painted vessels offloading their wares from far-flung climes. Papyrus from Egypt, corn from the Black Sea, pottery from Crete. It's almost time to return to the ship now, and you rush back through the bustling crowds. As you step onto the boat, you see some of the other passengers offering a prayer to the sea god. The sailors take their positions at the oars. You slump down on an uncomfortable wooden bench as the ship pulls away from the shore. Despite the earlier crowds, there are only a few other passengers. Go to 348. The weather suddenly becomes rougher, and the sky darkens over. There will be a terrible storm soon, and you are nowhere near a suitable port. The storm continues to gather. The ship is buffeted by winds and waves. The salt foam crashes over the ship, and you're very nearly flung overboard. Beneath you the ship creaks, and the captain tries desperately to hand down the sails. Too late. One of the sailors falls into the sea, screaming horribly, and a gust of wind rips the sail asunder. If Poseidon is your patron, go to 338.
I was about to say, what are you doing to us, Poseidon?
Yeah.
Did I forget how fickle he is or something? Was that 338?
338, yes.
Wonderful. Thank goodness.
The ship moves towards a headland, hurled on by vengeful Boreas, the north wind. Just as the boat seems it must break against the rocks, the waters part, and from its depths rises Poseidon, lord of the waves. Be still, he cries, and with one swift motion of his trident the sea is calm again, and Boreas banished back to his Thracian cave, just as the assembly is calmed by the wine and soothing words of an experienced speaker, and the troublemaker is cast out. Poseidon pushes the ship back from the rocks with his mighty hand. With one last wave of greeting, he launches himself back to his coral palace. Go to 194. On 4. The captain decides to keep close to the shore and announces his intention of calling at Cromion, to collect more passengers and bring on board some wine to deliver at Athens. When you reach the port, it's relatively quiet and late afternoon. As you step ashore, the captain hails you, saying that the ship will stay in port for 2 hours and leave as the sun begins to set. Go to 100. Near a small, brightly lit tavern, you see people scattering in all directions, panic and frenzy in their eyes. You try to grab one middle-aged man, but he pushes past, unwilling to stop for anyone. "The sow," he warns as he dashes past. At this cry, others join in the headlong flight away from the harbour area. You turn around to see what is the matter, and there, standing menacing behind you, is a reddy brown enormous sow, froth dripping from its lips. It steps towards you, clearly about to charge. Do you run away as fast as fleet-footed Hermes, or do you stand at bay to fight the Cromionian sow? I mean, maybe just me, but I mean,
we're healed, right? We're fully healed in between
healed.
combat,
And we're heroes. We're all hero-y.
And this is not this is not a hero. This is a cow, presumably unarmed.
A sow. Yeah. We can probably get away with that, I would think.
Yeah.
All right. We will do that. We will stand and fight. Go to 176. I do wish we were armed, though. 176. It feels like all of these fights are going to be tough until we've got some weaponry. Okay. The sow has might 12, which is a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
It's got protection 6, however. Okay. The good news is we get to go first because we're just going to go straight into the fight. So, with just protection 6, I have might 4, which means I'd need to roll 2 to hurt it.
Which feels pretty good.
Which feels okay. And if I therefore spend an honour point, which I will, that means I'm guaranteed to wound it. So if you have an honour point spare, now might be a good time to make it seriously wounded, because then when it attacks us, it's only going to have 1d6 to roll.
That is very true.
Not that will matter, because I think it will beat us anyway.
Go on then. I think you're right. Let's spend 1 honour. I do have honour to spare.
Okay. Then in that case, it is seriously wounded before it gets a hit in. However, with might 12...
It already hits me.
It already hits me
but
as
at
well.
Least...
It doesn't even need to roll for either of us. So the question is which of us it hits. Would you like odds or evens?
I'll take evens, please, Ben.
It's a 4, I'm afraid. So you are wounded.
Totally okay.
However, it is seriously wounded. We've only got to land 1 more hit. I think, given that there's 2 of us going for it...
Both trying to roll over a 2.
Yeah, we're both trying to roll over 2, and I'm unwounded, so it's not just that. I can do it with, yeah, I can. It's guarantee, isn't it? 2d6
Yeah,
plus 4.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
yeah, I can hit it guaranteed. So yes, okay, we've done it then. The sow is dead, despite us being unarmed. So we have defeated it. Go to 615. That could be worth having.
With our bare hands.
With our bare hands. Yeah, we're very heroic this time, you know. Very,
Mm.
very hero-y. 615. Here we go. You can have 6 honor points. That's excellent.
Wow.
And in addition, one of the grateful citizens of Chromion gives you a spear for delivering them. I think it's your turn to have the weapon, or your turn to have the item. It's Might 3, Protection 1. So it adds 1 to your
Cool.
protection and 3 to your might.
Sorry, Ben. That feels like a bad deal.
It's fair dues. It's your turn. That's a good thing, though.
That does feel good, and that didn't feel like that kind of reward for. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just us.
Yeah, I mean it was
Compared
at
to
least
the
a
other,
sort of mythic beast, but it was only a sow.
Oh
ultimately.
yeah, that's true.
I'm sure there will be tougher mythic beasts. Okay, we turn to 378. All right. It is now dusk. Your incident with the sow has delayed you. When you reach the harbour, you're told that the ship to Athens has left. It seems you must continue for the rest of your journey on foot. You decide to spend the night in Chromion and soon find a suitable inn. In the morning, well rested and well fed, you set out once more towards your father's palace. As you leave the town, you come to a sign. You may take a stone-strewn track up over the hills to Pagai, or you may follow the coastal route down to Megara. Well, I've heard of both of those places. I think Megara is the more notable of the two, probably the more famous. But I don't have any other thing to go on. I suppose
no
the
childhood
obvious
dreams of visiting one.
Not particularly, but the only thing I can really think about is we are Poseidon's bitches, so maybe Megara is the way to go because it's on the coast.
Now. Yeah.
Is that possible? Stay close to the water. Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to catch up with the ship, are we? But we might find an oar.
You never
that
know.
Feels good. I'm winning. I think it's probably your turn to choose anyway, seeing as I denied you.
You denied me Corinth.
Last choice. Yeah.
Let's try Megara then.
Things I never thought I'd say to Ben. I denies you Corinth.
161. You reach Megara by midday. The fresh sea breeze off the coast road blows your hair, which waves as do the golden ears of corn under the summer sun, before the farmers come to harvest them with their sickles of shining metal, laughing and warming to the task. You could go to the famous market, or alternatively simply wander about the town for a few hours.
Wow. One of those sounds very specific and the other one does not sound specific at all. Maybe not very. But...
You're right. I mean, if it's a famous market, maybe we should visit a famous market. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your turn. What do you fancy?
Let's visit the famous market.
Okay. All right. We will visit the famous market at Megara. 470.
We can sell our bacon, which obviously we have lots of now.
I suspect we have a huge amount of the streaky stuff, yeah.
Mm.
The market is large, larger than that of Corinth, a fact which surprises you. How would I know how big the market at Corinth is? Anyway, perhaps
Sorry,
it
Ben.
is something to do with the festival of Hera. There are rumours that the temple has been defiled and someone must pay with their life. There are merchants here from all parts of Greece, from Arcadia, Achaia, Boeotia, Attica, and even far off Thessaly and mountainous Epirus. Yet with large gatherings there come less savoury visitors than amicable Altheus. At one stall selling food, you see a group of scruffy men. They seem to be stealing while one of their number distracts the vendor. Surprised by this, you're forced to make a quick decision. Alert the trader, attack the men, or join in and take full advantage of the free food. I mean, I'm not sure there's heroism in attacking a bunch of scruffy men, is there?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I was about to say there's certainly shame in not helping catch some thieves, but I don't think the two are necessarily. I don't think it's a binary system.
No, I don't think it
As
is.
with many things.
So we could alert the trader, which is, I mean, we might get some shame for that for avoiding a fight, of course, or they might say there's no heroism in attacking scruffy men. I don't know what's the right outcome. I don't think we can steal food, to be honest.
No, go with your guts, Ben. I would say.
Okay, well then let's alert the trader and see what happens. 287. The trader shouts out, "Stop, thieves!" A general hue and cry erupts as everywhere people rush about, seeking to catch the men. You find it surprising that anyone could hope to achieve anything in this melee, more reminiscent of the fights of the Achaeans under high-walled Troy. But, at length the thieves are caught and taken away to the market wardens for summary justice. Go to 414. The merchant whose stall was being robbed comes up to you and says, "I'm pleased to see that the honesty and code of honour still prevail. For your service I would like to make you this gift." He hands over a rather old but still strong shield. "This is mine, but I have no use for it any more. Take this shield. I used it once in Crete, though I doubt you've ever been there. All I ask is that you don't dishonour it. And remember my name. Chiron. The shield is Might -1, Protection 3. You continue on your way from Megara to Eleusis, sacred to Demeter. Go to 86. Okay, so we have a shield which will cost us 1 might but give us 3 protection. Now, I'm tempted to say you should have that because my might's only 4. And your protection is lower than mine.
My protection is 11 currently.
Yeah, my protection is 12.
So okay.
It would make your protection up to 14, but the thing is, it would cost you 1 might, which you can absorb more, can't you, than I can, because I've only got might 4.
I've got 7.
Okay, then let's give it to you. That's might -1, protection 3.
Okay, you get the next thing there.
Yes, I'm not sure I can afford to drop my might to 3, much as the protection would be nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
You continue on your way from Megara to Eleusis, sacred to Demeter. Go to 86. Okay. So we're done with Megara apparently. Eleusis, 86. Okay. Eleusis, fairest flower in the Attic garden, save only proud Athens herself, home of Demeter's sacred mysteries, bright pearl that gazes over yellow Salamis with kindly eye. Eleusis, where you, Altheus, now find yourself amid the yearly festival of the corn goddess, bright-eyed Demeter, fair lady of the earth and all the fruit it bears. You move on slowly through the crowds, gathered in awe at the awaited time when Persephone, spirit of spring, must return to the earth above and life begin anew. Turn to 416. It's very poetic, this book, isn't it?
Don't look back, don't look back. That's all I remember.
Okay. At length you reach the temple itself. On the wide white steps there stand the priestesses of the great goddess, chanting and wailing their rite. The crowd is hushed, straining to hear every word, and silent in anticipation of some great event. Then the high priestess begins to move among the crowd, touching now one, now another, brushing them with her yellow robe, but never satisfied. Her motions become more frenzied, like one inspired by the goddess. At last she comes to you. Gripping you by the upper arm, she draws you up to the temple steps. This is an italic paragraph, so we can take a hint if we want it.
Ooh. This feels like it might be bad if we take a hint. Do gods like you looking? I don't know. I don't know if it's that.
If we take a hint, do we lose favour with Demeter rather than trusting her or something?
Yeah. It's true, Socks. A hint is not a door.
A hint is not a door. And this is Demeter. It's not like Demeter's into human sacrifice or anything.
No, precisely. It's not like it's even Aries, to be fair.
No. Okay. Let's just ignore the hint, shall we?
I see you biting your lip like you're thinking about it.
Oh, I'm desperate to take the hint. I'm desperate to
if
take
you want
it
to.
because it might reveal some useful information or some inside knowledge.
It may very well do.
Oh God!
If you
Let's
want
take
to.
the hint. What's the worst that happens? It costs us some honour, or we die. 436.
I've never seen a flip flop so quickly.
436.
436 it is.
Oh God. Breaking free of the priestess's grasp, you decline to be involved in the ceremony, saying that you're a stranger. The crowd shrinks away as if you were infected. You leave the city hurriedly with shouts and cries ringing in your ears. You must have one shame point. Oh, God.
Yeah.
And you're now in disfavour with Demeter.
Oh, that seems harsh.
Yeah.
All we tried to do is, get a little.
Such is life.
Get a little hint.
138.
One shame. Disfavour.
As you leave Eleusis behind, the way is lined on either side by olive trees, and some distance from the town a track joins the main path to your left. You pause a while in the hope that some traveller will be able to tell you the road to take, but no one comes. Impatiently, you decide to move on. Do you take the track or carry on down the road? We're on 3 shame, I think, Socks. Yeah. Track or road?
It kind of feels like a 50-50.
It does.
I don't know whether we have any. We're not in disfavour with anybody that would harm us on either a track or road, are we? I don't think.
Um,
It's not very specific, but
I don't know. Track or road? It joins to the left, which means I suppose it's moving slightly more inland. So if we want to stay closer to the coast, we probably stay on the road. But I mean, is it just me who thinks the main road's got to go to Athens, right?
yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I know it's not Rome and not all roads lead there, but surely the main road must.
If you're in Eleusis, it's got to be the
Feels like.
main road that goes to Athens. I mean, I don't know that at all. It could easily be that the track goes to Athens and the main road goes down to a small coastal town locally. But
Let's take the road.
let's take the main road. What the hell? We'll try it.
It's twice I've heard you try and convince yourself, Ben, that we should be taking the road, so let's do it.
474. 474.
Nice.
The way to Athens is pleasant. The path is well made and not rutted like others upon which you've travelled. Soon you pass into an area of green-clad rolling hills, and beyond this the outer edge of Athens' cultivated area. In the distance you can see farmers carrying their allotted portion for distribution to other areas. Your stomach feels light and you are tense with anticipation. And suddenly you can see the walls of Athens, your goal for so many days. Your pace quickens, and without speaking to anyone you pass, you hurry on until the great gates of the city are but a few yards away. Go to 40. I should point out, this is where the Poseidon thing could really bite us in the backside. Apparently Athena and Poseidon were rivals for the for Athens as their patron city, and Athena won and Poseidon's never forgiven them. You pause for a moment and then carry on unhindered into the city itself. You must find your way to the palace, but don't know how to. Ahead of you are grand houses built in stone, the abodes of some great lords of the city, but not large enough to be the house of your father. To either side of these, lesser houses of mud-baked brick block further progress into the city. You could carry on the road to the left, or go to the right, or ask someone the way to the palace. I mean, asking for directions feels so unmale.
I was going to say it feels really unheroic, but that has nothing to do with the male issue. And now it just feels like if I did actually say that, it would be. It's totally not right. I was just like, heroes don't ask for directions. So let's not do that, because that's not the way I think at all. And it would make me sad.
Yeah.
Also, that feels like if I'm totally metagaming the book and I'm thinking about the fact that this is a book, that feels like you can have some directions, but first we're going to throw a battle at you.
So do we carry on to the left or to the right then? Because I'm entirely happy with any of these three. I don't have any reason to judge any of them as a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have preference? Does anyone in chat have a preference
Left
on
or
a 20-second
right, or
delay?
ask for directions.
Whilst
What
we
do you
talk
think,
about
Socks?
other random stuff.
I don't know. Socks usually says go left. We'll try it. Let's go left. What the hell? We'll try 90.
Uh, 90. Wonderful.
90. You've been walking along the road for a little while and at last come upon a road leading deeper into the city. You wish you'd asked the guards at the gate the way to the palace. You approach the road, but when you come closer, you see that a large group of people has gathered, apparently stoning two men dressed in strange foreign garb, with double-headed axe motifs sewn into their tunics. Will you, as a stranger yourself, turn away and carry on, or will you intervene to save the men from the Athenian mob? Now, the double-headed axe motif. Am I right in thinking that I know exactly where that guy comes from? Where they come from?
I don't know why I'm even questioning this. I think you're smart enough, Ben, that, that if I know it, you know it.
Okay.
Well, if I can guess it, you know
Yeah.
it.
So we think they're from Ithaca, right?
Yeah.
Given they're likely to be Greek, I think we should probably intervene. It feels more heroic.
Yeah. It certainly feels more heroic.
Let's try to intervene. That's 489. This turns out to be brutal death, then
So be it. At least we went out heroically.
exactly, didn't die of cowardice.
Maybe.
You approach the crowd. Friends, you say, is this what we expect of the folk of Athens? Proud and free, but gentle too. Why do you stone these foreigners? What harm have they done you? Wow. It says, if you have 13 or more points of shame, go to one number, and if you have less than 13, go to the other. Ooh. We have a lot less than 13.
Yeah, I feel a lot better about how we're doing now.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
502. That feels like quite encouraging. Oh, this is less good. If you have more than 14 honor points, do something, and if you have less than
I have
50,
exactly I have less than 15.
You have less than 15. Well, this is an issue for us because I actually have more than 14.
Oh. How many more?
3 more.
Oh, I'd say on average we've got more than 14.
Okay, let's do that.
I have exactly 14.
You've got exactly 14
more than 15,
and I've got 17.
Because I have exactly 15. Yeah.
So on that basis, we'll take the average. Okay.
Sock says it's fair.
I think it's fair.
Although that was very quick, so that might have been into something
we
previously.
have more than 14 on average, so we will go to 62. And to be fair, you have exactly 14, so it's not like we're pushing it too much.
Yeah, we're not way over under, are we? It's a good median.
For a second, the gathered crowd pauses. Seeing their indecision, you exhort them once more to save the men. Do not defile the city by this dreadful deed, you cry. The crowd can see that you're obviously some great hero, and take heed of your words. Yes, I have a rusty helmet. And take great heed of your words. They disperse silently, and the two men are left alone. They thank you gratefully and say they will now head out of Athens for some friendlier town. Go to 394. Okay.
394.
394.
Wonderful. I realise I missed one, but that feels okay.
As you walk onwards into the city, a small boy laughs wildly at you. The sky darkens over and the air becomes hot and heavy. A few spots of rain drop and mingle with the dust on the road. Moments later, the path begins to turn to mud and people take shelter as the rain crashes down. Before you can get to cover, you're completely soaked. Away in the distance, the thunder rumbles. There's a brilliant flash and the Acropolis is bathed in blue light, and almost at once an ear-splitting clap of thunder seems almost to herald the rending of the sky. We can attempt to find shelter or press on to try to find the palace.
Ooh, it feels very dramatic.
I can't shake the feeling we're carrying an awful lot of metal.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I can't argue with that.
On the other hand, Zeus is our buddy.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't know the there must be a ratio of amount of metal to highest object, because lightning hits the tallest thing, right?
Certainly
All
the
things
tallest
being
thing it
equal.
can conduct through, yeah.
Yeah. And
And we can't be that
so
tall
I don't
because we
know.
fitted inside that squat tavern.
Yeah, and I don't know like how many more pounds of metal per foot in height you need to become the greater conductor. If I'm honest, conductor.
Yes, we were too tall for the Krusty's
I'm
beds.
totally overthinking this. Yes, we were indeed.
What do we do? Press on or find shelter? I don't know. Let's try pressing on towards the palace. I mean, it could just
Yeah.
be instant death, of course, but
Shelter might have a door, but the palace definitely, I want to say definitely has a door. I don't know. It definitely has a door. Nobody's said it's got a door, but I'd imagine
the palace has
if
probably
any
got
building's going
many
to have a
doors.
door,
Yes.
it's probably the palace. Sorry, Socks.
Yeah. But Socks thinks shelter might have a door. If Socks says shelter, I think we should do shelter.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll
Shelter.
try shelter. 94. Okay, 94. People are crowding into a nearby inn. You two join in the crush. Water and the smell of damp clothes are everywhere. You warm yourself by the fire. Unable to buy anything to drink as you have no money left, you have to be content with listening in on the various conversations. Perhaps you'll hear something that will be of help to you. And someone says, apparently she was appointed before the other one even left. And someone else says, but on the last race they all crashed into each other and caught fire, and 2 of them died. And then someone else says, apparently the Queen makes her own wine. They say it's gorgeous. Somebody pushes in front of you to the fire. The rain has now stopped and slowly the inn empties. You two leave and step out into the late afternoon sun. Go to 198. So that could have been all
like
sorts of useful
really,
information.
really good choice as
That
well,
was an
because
excellent choice.
nothing bad happens. Not only did we get information, but nothing bad happened.
Nothing bad happened at all.
Sorry, Ben, what number was that?
This is 198.
198. Glorious.
The sun lights up the whole city with a harsh glare as it reflects off the newly formed puddles. The water drips rhythmically from the roofs, and slowly the city reawakens like 1,000 squirrels emerging from their winter's rest. The road turns sharply to the right, but there's also a narrower street straight on. And all we've got is that. Straight on or turn right.
Ooh. Oh, these are the ones I hate because there's nothing to it. There's no it's not even any flavour and personal bias that I can put on it because we just got left off straight.
I mean, I suppose the only thing I can say is the narrower street probably doesn't lead to the palace, does it?
No, unless it's a shortcut. It's probably not the main route.
Yeah, true. Could be a shortcut.
Luke says turn left, death. It almost rhymes. Straight on,
Straight on, survive. Luke reckons. Okay, let's follow Luke's advice and go straight ahead down the narrow road. Okay.
Although he has been wanting us to die all game, so well, tempting death, I think, is how he actually.
And now he's celebrating Rudy's unbeaten record in order to point out that we do not have an unbeaten record at these games. 109. We're going straight ahead.
Not even one. Sorry,
109.
109. Thanks.
In this part of the city, what houses there are seem much grander. Near one of them, a dog is chained so that it can't run freely. You approach it tentatively, not knowing how far it can move. Go to 15.
That feels a really random paragraph to have. Like, are you just trying to throw? Did they just put that in there just to try and throw herself over, thinking how the book is structured?
Yeah, maybe.
It's just really random.
The
Sorry,
dog growls
do go on.
menacingly as you pass by. Just when you think you're
Maybe
safely
not.
away, it rushes out and the chain snaps as it lunges towards you. It sinks its savage teeth deep into your ankle. You kick it and manage to drive it off. It goes whimpering back to its master's house. Go to 440. My God, we are definitely not licking that dog, Socks. That is an angry dog. Very angry puppy.
This game does hate us, sucks. We realised that when someone cut off our legs when we just went to sleep.
You're deep in the heart of the city now. Surely the palace must be somewhere nearby. Turning a corner, you suddenly come upon several citizens watching a group of men with whitened faces. You go nearer and see that the men are silently representing some legend. Some pretend to eat, others are drinking imaginary wine. You cannot make out what it is. Then, all of a sudden, it becomes clear to you. They're depicting the death of your brother Theseus in the labyrinth. One man climbs on another's back and is the Minotaur. Another represents Theseus, treading with exaggerated caution through the labyrinth, pausing from time to lean on the wall. He bends to pick something up from the ground, and the Minotaur attacks him from behind. Theseus mouths a cry of agony and falls motionless. For a moment the scene freezes, then the Minotaur separates back into two cartwheeling players, and Theseus springs up from the ground. You realise with a start that no one could know of your brother's death. You look again at the players, but all save one is vanished. His face is that of Hermes, the divine messenger. He gives one last enigmatic smile and is gone. Go to 592. Whoa.
Wait, was that a message from the gods?
It is. Bewildered, you step into a side street where you slump to the ground in utter despair of finding the palace. Nearby, you see a tall, grey-eyed, imperious woman. She waits expectantly. When you clamber to your feet, she speaks. I am Pallas Athena, and this is my city. Go now to the Acropolis, from where you may see all Athens and the place you seek. Athena is not our patron, so we go to 325. Before you can reply, the divine lady has vanished. You make your way through the streets, deserted now in the late afternoon sun, towards the Acropolis, Athens' citadel. Tower. Okay, there's a bit of a glitch in the printing here. Hang on a second.
That's all right. 325, if that helps in any
Yep.
way, shape, or form.
Because it just says Athens Citadel Tower and then starts at 326. The next one. Hang on a second. Oh no, I've got it. They've just printed. They've printed the rest of 325 after 326, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I think that when they put the graphics in, they messed it up a bit.
Shift.
They obviously moved them around. Athens Citadel, towering high over the city as a strong-armed king over his people, their strength and protector. The heat is oppressive, and you rest several times, leaning against one of the humble dwellings which make up this part of Athena's town. Go to 244. Ahead of you, you can now see a large group of people, some 10 or 15 strong. They shout and wail, while the women in the party tear their hair and their black shawls. They appear to be carrying some large object, but you can't make out what it is, since the dust and haze obscure your view. Do you move closer and investigate the reason for the disturbance, or turn aside a while from the path to the Acropolis and avoid the crowd altogether?
I mean, I think we both know what the heroic thing to do would be.
We have to go and find out what the large
We have
object
this.
is and everything.
Oh yeah, I was going to say stick our noses into other people's business, but yeah, sure, pretty much.
Sure.
Same thing.
Anyway, we've literally been given a divine instruction to head for the Acropolis, and this mob is in the way.
And that is true. That is very true.
Yes, see you in Discord in a bit. Quite right, Socks. We move closer and investigate the reason. 494. As you reach the spot where the procession stands, you notice with a start that it's no bundle of sticks these people carry, but the corpse of a man dressed in coarse woolen garments, dyed red with the blood that has poured from a gash in his stomach. One young woman notices you and screams, pointing at you. This is the man. He must be a retainer of the king. See his fine robes. Let's kill him. The mob charges you and you must defend yourself. Okay. These unskilled fighters act as a group with one attack only. Each time you score a hit, one of the men is killed and the might score is reduced by 1.
Ooh.
Okay. So every time we get a hit on them, their might goes down. They are might 8, protection 11. And we keep fighting until we've killed 5 men. Okay?
Yeah.
Might 8, protection 11. Okay. So, first hit. Not doing any. We're not doing anything non-combat, so we get the first hits. So, with protection 11, I've got might 4. So I need a 7 in order to hit one. You know what? I'm going to take the chance and just do it without honor, without you spending an honor point to start with. I'll need a 7 in order to get a hit on them. And that's exactly a 7, a 5 and a 2. So
Nice.
So your turn. You get to have a go. And what's your might?
6.
6 is good.
Yes. So I need a 5 on
You need
2D.
a 5, yeah, on 2d6.
Seems reasonable. I do agree with Socks that it seems rather modest for a mob. I mean, maybe it's an oldie worldy mob opposed to a modern mob. Mod.
Small and unskilled.
That's the one.
Turns out.
Yes, that's an 8.
Okay.
On the dice.
So that means they get to attack with might 6 against us.
Yeah.
All right. So since there's lots of them, I'm going to suggest that it makes sense for them to have a go at each of us at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'll roll 2 for the ones coming at me, and you can roll 2 for the ones coming at you. They're both a 6. My protection is 12. So they need to hit a 6 in order to wound me. And they haven't done it. They rolled a 4.
Ooh. Mine have, however, rolled a 9, which with their 6 beats my 14.
Okay. So you take a wound. You are wounded. That doesn't affect you this turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I get to go again. It worked out last time. I'm going to take the chance again and just see if I can hit a 7, basically. That's an 11. So I've knocked another one down.
Oof. Very nice. I'm going to do the same, seeing as the odds are in my favour. And that is a 7 plus 6.
Fantastic.
It'll definitely do the job.
Which means they get one more attack round against each of us, but this time with might 4.
Yeah. And we've taken down 4.
6 plus 4 is 10. Nope, they don't get to hit me this time.
Oh. Mine is a 4 on the dice.
Cool.
Plus 4 is 8.
They're
Which
never
does
going to
not
land a
work.
hit with that. So that means, well, we'll each roll again. We've got to knock off one more of them. So as long as one of these is a hit,
Yeah.
I need a 7 to hit. And I got exactly a 7. 5 and a 2.
Very good. Take it.
Fantastic. So 5 of them are killed. We turn to 151. Fantastic. And you get your health back, remember?
Ah, yes. Thank you very much. Definitely worth remembering.
With horror, the Athenians see that they've attacked a hero. Not waiting for their women, they run off into the streets and attempt to take refuge in a nearby tavern. Their companions join them, and at length the young woman, whose husband is clearly the one whose funeral this was to have been, gives you a last look of hatred, and then she too takes off. For your victory, you may only have 3 honour points. 1, as it was against such feeble foes. You carry now on towards the Acropolis. Well, you say that, but actually 3 honour points is worth having.
Yeah, it's not too shabby.
Yeah. We carry on towards the Acropolis, turn to 230.
230. Very nice.
Okay, 230. At length you reach the slope of the hill on which the citadel stands. It is steep, and you're forced to stop several times. The houses here are much older than those below, and their denizens richer, but nowhere here can your father's palace be discerned. You reach the summit and pass through the gates where the guards stand with great body shields and ceremonial armour. They do not stop you. You clamber up the wall on the other side of the gate to get a better look at the city. And I think that's a good place to stop, actually. We've just made it onto the Acropolis.
Ooh.
So we're going to stop at 230.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I think, since Warlock of Firetop Mountain,
Yeah.
we're going to split this over 2
sessions.
2 sessions. Fantastic.
Which we came quite close, didn't we? We definitely finished Warlock, although I don't think we had all the keys. Was that there?
We were missing a couple of bits, weren't we? We got to the chest and we were missing one thing, or
but we didn't
like
die. We made it through. It's definitely one of the more successful ones. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. That was great fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. As I said at the break, it felt very very thematical, I guess.
Yeah, it does feel like Greek heroic things. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we still have our jewel. We didn't drop it in the river, and we have some kit, and we've made it onto the Acropolis, and we can go and get our mission from our father. This does feel like a good place to break, with plenty still to do. So, excellent. Yeah. Thank you for this evening, Ewan. Thank you, everyone in chat.
Thank you, Ben. Always a pleasure.
And we will resume at some future date to do the second half of Bloodfeud of Altheus.
The next time Luke is away.
The next time Luke is AWOL, yes. So, tomorrow night, just a quick note, we're going to play our Clarissa the Vampire Slayer game, which is based on the Buffy rules. Set in ancient Rome. So that's about 11 o'clock UK time. We will be doing this one with the lovely Socks joining us, Sock Fiddler, who is currently in chat, basking in her ability to, give us good advice that when we ignored it, very nearly got us killed repeatedly. So we'll be playing more traditional TTRPG tomorrow night. And then on Monday, Socks and I will be back playing a video game. Probably, so I'm told, it might be the last chapter of the Banner Saga. Perhaps.
Exciting. That has been fun. I haven't fully caught up yet, but I will have to do so very soon.
It,
It's been
it
great to watch.
it is enormous fun to play. So yes, thank you everybody in chat or on VOD. Thank you, Ewan, and we shall bid you a good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Thanks.